Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. Today we are playing a Crusade mission and we're using Vanguard Strike. It's myself, I'm bringing Imperial Guard with some demon allies, and Paul is bringing his Tyranids out for a last hurrah before the new Codex comes out early next year. We're playing 1750 points and we've already done the objectives and such on the table. So I will be setting up in that quadrant over there, and Paul will be in this corner down here. Objective wise, we have one down in this nice little bit of trees there. I've poked one down at the back of that ruin in my deployment area. There's one shoved over this corner of the table. Paul's put one buried deep in this forest here. And the last one is sitting on this wreckage of an Imperial lander down there. Let's go through the armies. Okay, so 1750 points of Guard and Demons. Let's see what we have. I'm using the Yarrick model, but I'm not actually playing Yarrick. I'm not insane. He's a Commissar Lord with Power Fist, and I believe I've given him a bolt gun because it's 3. He is going to be leading a blob squad consisting of 3 squads of Imperial Guard. Each of them has a grenade launcher and an autocannon, and one of the squads has crack grenades. We also have a company command squad. They have 4 plasma guns. We have the obligatory platoon command squad, which I have to take, which have 4 flamers. I have a veteran squad with 3 melter guns. Each of those 2 squads is going to be rocking around in a Vendetta with the standard triple las cannon loadout, and the company command squad had a Chimera there with heavy bolter and multi-laser. I also have a Lemon Rat Eradicator with triple heavy bolter, and I have a nice cheap and cheerful Griffin at the back. Rounding off my points, I have a heavy weapons squad armed with 3 missile launchers. For the demon contingent, we have a mighty demon prince who has obviously seduced the Imperial Guard to the dark side of chaos to fight the evil Tyranid menace. And he is a demon prince of Dzeech. He has a greater and an exalted reward. His greater reward has given him Feel No Pain 4+, and his exalted reward is, you may want to brace yourself here, he has taken the evil book. He also has flight, and he has armour, and he's a level 3 psyker. He's got, what's he got, Paul?
Warp speed, endurance, and
hemorrhage. Yeah, we all rolled hemorrhage today. It wasn't good. Rounding out the demons, we have 20 demonettes. They have an Alares upgrade, but other than that, nothing else. So they are my 1700 points. Let's see what Paul's bought.
So this is the last outing for the Tyranids before the new Codex arrives. Last chance to use some of the interesting things from the old edition. We are being led, as always, by our Hive Tyrant. He is rocking double devourers, as per usual. He's got wings, as you can see. He is a Hive commander for +1 to reserves, and is an old adversary for a preferred enemy. If for my elites, I have a unit of 8 Imgarl Gene Stealers, and I have 3 Hive Guard, which is always useful for terrifying Mike. And we have the Doom of Melantai in a Mycetic Spore.
That's what really terrifies me.
For the troops, we've got 2 Tervagons. One of them has got Toxin Sacs and the other's got Adrenal Glands, and I bought them both an extra psychic power by buying them Catalyst. And they've got their obligatory units of 10 Termagants. We have a massive unit of 30 Hormagaunts, which I have tricked out with Adrenal Glands so that they can threaten vehicles. And then, to round out the points, I have a Trigon Prime. So the psychic powers weren't very effective, though. Mr. already got 2 guns, has picked up 2 shooting attacks with Life Leech and Hemorrhage. The Tervagons picked up Hemorrhage and Endurance, and Hemorrhage and Enfeeble. So the Doom decided, with the rolling going the way it was, he'd better stick with his Cataclysm. Let's see how... Oh, the other thing to mention is my Hive Tyrant is a scoring unit. Let's see how things go. Okay, we've set up and ready to roll. I've kind of set up a line across my deployment zone. We're playing the diagonal deployment zones here. So Hive Tyrant in the middle, flanked by 2 Tervagons. Got a hell of a lot of stuff in reserve. Over on the Traitor Guard side of the table, they've deployed their Demonettes on well, basically a bit of a refused flank. They've got nothing beyond that ruin. So it's Demonettes, a couple of tanks, the Prince, and then the large numbers of Imperial Guard, and then the artillery right at the back as usual. Okay, Mike's going to try and steal the initiative, try and catch the Hive Tyrant on the floor.
On a 6, come on. Oh, very close. He just takes off before I get him.
Tyranid turn 1. Tyranid turn 1s aren't generally that interesting. We all moved forward, and then we all ran forward, basically. And we made some more squads of termagants. This one pooped out another 11, I think. And this one only managed 8, I believe. But they're still both producing, which is the main thing. The Hive Tyrant is making a beeline straight for the Demon Prince. He knows where the best chance for honour is in this game. But took some shots at the Demonettes as he raced forwards, killing 3 of them. That's all for the Tyranids turn 1. Now we have to wither the whole firepower of the Imperial Guard army, which we're not looking forward to.
Okay, it is Imperial Guard with their lovely demon allies, turn 2, turn 1. Second turn of the game, that's what I was going for. So, my turn 1, what did I do? My Demon Prince took to the air to face off against his flying nemesis of the Hive Tyrant. The Hive Tyrant can smash my Demon Prince to death in close combat because he can get up to strength 10 and I've only got toughness 5, so I didn't really want to try and get into close combat with him. Against the other monstrous creatures, they're only hitting me on 5s and then they've got to wound me and then they've got to get past my invulnerable save, so I'm not that worried by them. But against the Hive Tyrant, he was not wanting to get into close combat, so he took to the air and he cast Hemorrhage. I mean, who would have thought Hemorrhage would do anything? But Paul rolled a 6 on his Hemorrhage toughness check, and so took a wound from it, and then it also killed 2 more Hormagaunts because they were within range, so that was quite handy. I then basically fired most of the rest of my army at him. I'd fired my 3 plasma guns inside my Chimera at him with bring it down order. I managed to hit him 3 times with those, which was pretty good rolling, and did him 2 more wounds. And then my big squad also fired up at them. And I think a combination of those, in the end, he fell to the ground. I think he fell to the ground on his 3rd or 4th grounding check, because I also fired the heavy bolters from the Chimera at him. Once he fell to the ground, though, he was in a bit of a stuck. He fell to the ground, he had 1 wound left, and I fired my 3 heavy weapon missile launchers at him and did 1 more wound, and he dead. So I got a Warlord point out of that, and also First Blood, which is nice. The rest of my shooting wasn't particularly effective. I fired my Eradicator Lemon Rust over at the Hive Guard. I managed to completely miss with the large blast, and all the heavy bolters did nothing as well, so nothing happened with that. Oh, I think my large blast killed 2 termagants, for what it's worth. And this Griffin over here fired down here and managed to take out 3 more Hormagaunts, just because they were the closest models to my line, so just to put his charge back a little bit. So that seemed reasonably useful. In close combat, my Demonettes moved forward and engaged a unit of 6 Hormagaunts, which are the closest to them. I'd laughably hoped to be engaged in close combat during Paul's turn because my Grimoire of True Names failed, so they've only got a 6-up invulnerable save at the moment. But they've all managed to consolidate into cover after wiping out those Hormagaunts. So overall, a pretty good turn. One of the other benefits of killing the Hive Tyrant was that he had Hive Commander, which gives Paul bonuses on all of his reserve rolls. And as he's got 4 things in reserve, it seems quite useful. So let's see what happens. I'm suspecting, here's my prediction. I'm predicting that the Yomgal Gene Stealer is going to appear here. But we shall see if I'm correct.
So, Tyranids turn 2. We only managed to gain half of our reserves, but they were pretty good reserves. The Trigon buried up from the ground right just about here. And the other guy that came in was... What else came in?
Yomgals!
Oh, the Urmgrol Gene Stealers. They came out of this crash lander. We were too afraid to come up by the Quilla because it's a bit small for 8 guys, plus anything might be on top of it. And we enfeebled the Demonettes, and we spawned another squad here, although this one is now out of termagants. And we enfeebled them, so they were down to toughness 2, shot them all with our bolt pistols, and then charged them with the Urmgrolls and took them down without them getting to swing back. Over here, this one spawned another brood and still can spawn more. We took a bunch of flesh bower shots up at the Demon Prince, but didn't manage to ground it. The Hive Guard, who are now in their favourite spots, trying to keep out of line of sight of things, also fired at it, but also failed to ground it despite a hit. And I think, the only other thing for comedy effect, we decided to throw a containment spines shot into the into the Demonettes.
Against my better advice.
Yes. I always have a firm belief that you shouldn't really worry too much about the termagants when you're firing your large blast weapons. And indeed, we managed to kill 4 termagants and a demonette, which I consider to be a fair trade. We also took a wound off of this heavy weapons team up here with another containment spine shot. And that's it for my turn 2.
Okay, Imperial Guard with Demon Allies, turn 2. Well, Demon Allies now, I suppose, as I've only got one left. My Grimoire of True Names is not looking so handy now, as it has nothing can be used on. Over here, the single Vendetta came on. This one has my squad of Flamers inside it. The other one decided to stay off the board for tactical reasons this turn. Tactical reasons being I rolled a 1. Over here, we decided that the Trigon that popped up in our deployment zone really had to die because it could threaten so much stuff. My commander over here yelled, "Bring it down!" to his plasma gun squad, and they hit 7 times on it, and I think they did 5 wounds to him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 5 wounds, which was awesome rolling on my half. I even did a wound with my las pistol. It was that good. Unfortunately, I didn't have that much other stuff around that could put fire in, so I ended up having to put my full 30-man blob into him to deal that final wound. Obviously, it did the final wound, but it felt like a bit of a waste. Over here, the Eradicator tank moved down, and it could see some Hive Guard hiding in the shadow of the large tower in the centre. I managed to get a direct hit with my cannon, and I rolled really well with the heavy bolters, and I've killed 2 of them and put the last one on 1 wound. So it's quite handy because my Vendettas coming on. They were the main threat to them, because if they hit, they obviously ignore the cover and manage to blow me up reasonably easily. So that was quite good there. The Demon Prince had moved down to about there. He'd failed all of his psychic checks due to the damn shadow in the warp that the Trigon Prime was throwing off. So I went down into standard ground mode, and I positioned myself between the Trigon and the Gene Stealers, so I could charge either depending on what happened during the turn. Because the Trigon died, I charged into the Gene Stealers. I didn't roll particularly well, I only killed 2, but then Paul rolled pretty awfully and did me 0 wounds back. So we're stuck in combat. Unfortunately, there are 6 of them left, meaning I can't kill them all next turn, meaning I'm going to lose another turn in combat with them. So they're probably doing actually a good job of holding me up, which I don't like. Other stuff. The Vendetta fired down and did 1 wound to the Tervigon, as did my missile launchers over here. They did 1 wound to the Tervigon. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Ah, yes. The Griffin in the corner managed to fire up and down and splat, and he killed, I think, 8 of the termagants that were there. But all it means is Paul gets to spawn more, as I've failed to kill either of his termagants as yet. But overall, that was a pretty good turn for me. But Paul's next turn is likely to bring in the Doom of Malantai, who is going to come down here and eat some guardsmen and get 1,000,000 wounds, is my suspect. Let's see if it happens.
Okay, Tyranids turn 3. We managed to get the remainder of our reinforcements with the Doom of Malantai, some gorging from his Mycetic Spore, and this massive unit of 30 Hormagaunts entering the table from outflanking. The Hormagaunts couldn't do anything yet, of course, because you can't attack me coming in from outflanking, so they've just spread out as best they can. With their bounding leap, they managed to move 12 inches onto the board, so they've spread out reasonably well, but you know that the Imperial Guard can generate a hell of a lot of shots. The Doom came down. I think it might have done a wound or 2 to the... oh no, it did anything. It did 1 wound with its leech life, and there was a very tempting Cataclysm, which I had to go for. Unfortunately, it scattered off to around about here-ish, and only managed to catch 5 Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard went to ground, so we only did 2 wounds, and the Doom broke even on his wounds, so he's going into this turn with 5 wounds. What else did we do? The Gene Stealers had a pretty good combat. They only lost another 2 of their kind, so there's 4 Gene Stealers facing off against the Demon Prince. They had to choose extra toughness this round because they'd used extra attacks last round. The Tervagons moving forward to try and threaten this Lehman Russ. The Termagants are beginning to hunker down in terrain. Over here, this Tervagon's having a great game for making babies. Spawned another 14 and is still capable of making more. They flesh bored the remainder of that heavy weapons team off the table, and then we sort of pissed about over here with these guys. Oh, actually, I forgot to run those. Do you mind if I quickly run those guys?
Yeah, no,
we'll do that after the vid. And I think that's about it. So quite a lot of models on the board here, but we've got another Vendetta to come on, which is very threatening. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so it's Imperial Guard turn 4?
3.
3?
Yeah.
It's only turn 3. Blimey. Only turn 3. A lot has happened so far. So first thing that happened, I rolled for my Vendetta and he didn't arrive, which was really bad. It had 3 las cannons obviously on the Vendetta and 3 melter guns inside, which I'd earmarked to kill the old Doom of Malantai down here. So didn't get to do that, which was a bit of a shame. The other Vendetta started off its turn by going into hover mode, and the Flamer squad got out the back. They flamed the long line of termagants that were there, managed to kill 6 of them, and due to the fact that I'll get to in a minute they're no longer fearless, guess why, they have broken and are running off the board, which is nice. This Vendetta here, combined with fire from the plasma guns of the remains of the command squad, fired into the Turvigon that was there. It had 4 wounds left, and I rolled pretty luckily, to be honest, because Paul had cover saves for the plasma shots, but I managed to get exactly 4 wounds on it, and they were the only guns I could fire on it this turn, so that died, and that caused, I think it caused 0 damage to this squad, but it did some more damage to another squad over here, which is also running. There is 1 member left. So there are 3 Termagant squads over there, 2 of 1 man and 1 of 4 men, but that was really nice, killing that there, so he doesn't have any synapse over here either, which is good. I made a mistake last time. I went to ground to try and keep this squad alive a bit longer, but forgetting that the doom goes off at the start of the shooting phase. So I managed to get up and do my shots with them, but he was still in range, but I managed to roll well on my leadership and he didn't hurt me, which was good. But I have no solutions for him, so I just ignored him this turn. This big squad here, they did the get back in the fight order, so they got to fire normally, and they killed about half of the Hormagant squad. Which is really nice. It means they can't really charge me because I'd overwatch them to death. I then fired both the Eradicator tank, which a tank shocked into them to bunch them up a bit. I fired him and the Colossus over there. And of the 30 Hormagants that started the turn, there are 5 left, making them far less threatening. But unfortunately, due to the tank shock, I had to put the rear of my tank towards the bolt pistols over here. So there's a semi-okay chance that they can do a few glances and possibly kill me. The Demon Prince in the centre again failed his psychic power due to the evil shadow in the warp, which has done a real number on me this game. So I only got 3 Gene Stealers killed this turn, so there's still 1 left, which I suppose is actually quite good for me at the moment. But Paul is in a position to come in and smash me with a Turvigon, which would be a big loss as he's my warlord. Other than that... Oh yeah, sorry. He's not my warlord, ignore me. It's the Commissar down there who's semi-safe because he's got 30 men in between him and the enemy. Did I do anything else this turn? I don't think so. So, that was it for my turn 3.
Tyranid turn 4, and it was a shocker. So I had my 9 bolt pistol shot for flesh borer shots and 15 Hormagaunt charge attacks on the Lehman Russ. That only managed to result in 1 hull point on the Lehman Russ, so that was pretty disappointing. The Turvigon waded in and tried to smash the Demon Prince. It managed to get a hit, but then it failed its to wound roll. The Gene Stealer managed to finally nick it though. This was the first time a Gene Stealer managed to wound the Demon Prince. So the Turvigon took 2 wounds back, and is on 4 wounds. The Demon Prince has got 3 left. Over here, we've got 2 fleeing units and 1 non-fleeing unit huddling around an objective. They're huddling around this objective here and this objective here. These Termagants are moving back to try and reinforce those for when the inevitable bombardments come in. The Hive Guard tried a cheeky shot at the Vendetta, which had gone into hover mode, but it missed. And the most annoying part of the turn was the Doom cataclysmed his way up to 6 wounds.
Yeah.
Killing the commander and 2 plasma guns. But then when it tried to charge in, it took 4 wounds on Overwatch and then rolled Snake Eyes for its charge. So it didn't manage to get into the assault. I really wanted to try and get in the assault so that I wouldn't get melt-gunned when the Vendetta comes on next turn. I think that was all the action this turn. Let's see what Mike can manage on his turn 4.
Okay, it is Imperial Guard turn 4. Paul had a bad one, as did I. So, first things I did. So we had the Doom down here on 2 wounds. I thought, better take advantage of his 2 wound state and kill him. So I fired my 30-man blob into him. Did 1 wound. Wasn't good. I then fired 3 las cannons from a Vendetta into him. Did nothing. So then I decided, no, I've got nothing else to really fire because I'm running out of units. And I need to take out some of Paul's troop choices. So I had my tank, which survived last turn. It's got this big ignores cover large blast. I fired it over here, but it managed to scatter back and landed just in between these 2 units. So I got none with that. I think I killed 1 with the heavy bolters.
That's right.
My 2 plasma gunners down there managed to attrition themselves. They lost 1 model and managed to kill 1 Hormagant with their firing. So that wasn't very special. Over here is where it went really, really badly. The Demon Prince again failed his psychic powers due to Shadow in the Warp. I made more or less all of the 3d6 leadership chests from the Doom, but I've made, I think, 1 of my psychic tests while being in range of Shadow. It's just been so powerful, and that meant the Tervigon just managed to beat me up in close combat. It smashed me, it hit me once, and I failed my invulnerable save. So that Tervigon is now free to roam around the table eating stuff. What else happened? Over there I just shuffled and is sitting on the objective. I fired my Griffin over there at this collection of various... There are 3 squads, believe it or not, on this objective. I managed to hit all 3 of them with the Griffin, but they all made their cover saves, which is a bit annoying. Anything else? Don't think so. It's Paul's turn 5. It could be the last turn of the game next, so let's quickly do objectives and points at the moment. So I've got Warlord and First Blood. You've got Linebreaker? No, you haven't got Linebreaker. Oh, yes. You've got Linebreaker with the Bloody Demon, and also with the Hive Guard down there. I've got a squad inside this Vendetta, so it's likely they're going to probably get out next turn. Paul is scoring this objective here, and this objective here. I'm scoring an objective there and an objective over there. So at the minute, Paul is 2 points ahead of me, or 1 point ahead of me, I think.
2 points. You've got one more secondary objective than me, and I've got one more actual objective than you.
2 more secondaries you if we include this as a line breaker.
Oh yeah, if you get line breaker.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty close, which is always how we like it.
Okay, Tyranid turn 5. The Doom is continuing to pester the big squad of Imperial Guard here. He managed to do a wound with his leech life, so he's back up to 2 lives. The Hive Guard took a shot at the Vendetta, but didn't manage to do anything, did fail to penetrate. The Gene Stealer, the Morrigal Gene Stealer and 4 Hormagaunts finally managed to finish off that Lehman Russ from last turn. And then really it was Termagant's Pile, round objectives, and then lie down and pray for the best. I managed to do a really good rally here. So I've actually got this group of 4 is now unbroken and can score. And I think that's about all the news. The Toe have gone standing here trying to provide as much sign-ups as he can. Chucked a cluster spine over there, and he managed to do 2 wounds. That blob squad is going nowhere. Okay, so it's Mike's turn 5.
Okay, it's Impy Guard, and no Demon has left anymore. Turn 5, so this could be the last turn of the game. We'll roll the dice in a moment. So, first things first, my squad hadn't gone to ground this turn, or last turn, so they opened fire. Well, first of all, they attempted to run, or move through cover. They only got a 2-inch, so I couldn't get out of the 6-inch radius of the Doom's essence leech. So he ended up getting 5 wounds out of it, which wasn't good.
He went up to 6.
He went up to 6. I then, in my shooting phase, opened fire on him and took him back down to 4. So it wasn't particularly useful. This plasma gunner moved over here, and he was actually semi-useful. We'll see what he did in a moment. The 2 Vendettas converged on a Tervigon, which was down there. I opened fire with the first Vendetta here and managed to kill the Tervigon. 3 hits, 3 wounds, dead. That was quite handy. The other Vendetta managed to take out the Hive Guard, which was hiding down there, scoring Linebreaker. I was hoping to take out both of his Linebreakers this turn. The Griffin here, because I was at this point winning on VPs, decided not to try and take any of Paul's troops off of objectives, but to go with models that might be handy if the game goes on. So he had 1 Gene Stealer and 3 Hormagaunts that had killed my tank last turn, and they were all under 1 large blast. The Griffin being really accurate, hit all of them, killed all of them, which was really good.
He didn't kill the Gene Stealer.
I didn't kill the Gene Stealer. That's what the Plasma Gunner did. He picked off the Gene Stealer last shot of the turn. Over here, this Vendetta had gone into hover mode, gone down there, and you can see the shadow of it. Gotten out the veteran squad who have done nothing all game as yet. They got out and fired at these Termagants here, who were, unfortunately, because I'd killed the Tervigon first, they weren't fearless anymore, so they just went to ground and got a 3-up cover save, but I am contesting the objective, which is pretty important. What else? Over here, I remembered with Paul's help that we were actually playing Vanguard Strike, not Dawn of War, and I wasn't actually in his deployment zone. I thought I was over there, but I wasn't. So these guys did a bit of run action and managed to get inside his deployment zone at the angle over there. So I'm scoring Linebreaker. So the scores on the doors are, Paul has this objective here with multiple squads. Paul has this objective here. We are contesting the objective over there. I have this objective down here, and I have the objective down there. Now the first thing we need to do, which make it awkward, is see if that one blows up, Paul.
Okay,
so this one over here, we remembered to do a mysterious objectives this game, so that one over there is a booby trap. Let's see.
This is the one in the forest.
And this is the one in the forest. So on a 1.
Nope.
No, the one in the forest, which is over there.
Nope.
That's not right. So now it's does the game end on a 1 or 2? The game ends and I win by a margin of victory of 2.
No, another
No,
round.
the game goes on. Excellent.
Tyranid turn 6. Only one of our termagant squads passed their instinctive behaviour check, but it was the big one. So they moved over here as fast as they could. They only managed to get 2 bolt pistol shots on these guys, plus the bolt pistol shots from this squad here, and the ones, snapfire ones from over here managed to kill 2 Imperial Guardsmen. So we didn't manage to force the leadership check we were hoping for. Meanwhile, the Doom cracked on as he's been doing. He managed to do some leech essence and some cataclysms, and then he charged in, took the Overwatch shots, and he's, as you can see, he's in combat with a whole load of guys, and is down to 2 wounds. So he's still he's not contesting the objective, unfortunately. He's a little bit too far away.
Half a centimetre out, isn't he?
But he's still quite happily trying to line break, and if you can kill enough of these guys, then who knows what might happen next round. Okay, Mike's got his turn 6 coming right up.
Okay, it's Imperial Guard, turn 6 again. It might be the end of the game. We'll have to find out. So, first of all, down here, the Doom was down to 2 wounds at the start of turn. It leached a couple of lives back. I then clubbed it in combat a bit. It's down to 2 wounds again. Annoying, I hate the thing. It's still line breaking, but then we remembered he's also got a mycetic spore here, so he's line breaking whatever, really, because I'm not going to be able to kill that. Over here, my squad ran in, shot his squad, caused them to fail a morale check, and they ran back a little bit. But I really wanted to consolidate, to position myself better around the objective, so I still charged in at them. Only just managed to beat them in combat. I rolled really badly to wound, and if I'd have failed to kill them, then I may have been out of the objective range, so it could have been a real bad move on my behalf. But luckily, Paul failed 2 saves. They're only 6 pluses, but he could have made one. And I got to consolidate around, so I'm now exactly 3 inches away from the objective to score it, but it can't blow up and hurt me. My 2 Vendettas moved into tactical positions. So Paul had his 3 Hormigant squads over here. There were 2 gone to ground there, and there was 1 on his own. I fired my Griffin at them first of all, and with its heavy bolter I managed to take out the 1 lone man, and I put a wound on the other squad. But he made his cover save on the other squad. I then precision shot with my Vendetta, and combined with the extra Griffin wounds that I'd hit the bystanders, I managed to get enough wounds on the big squad to force a break check, and they are running off the board. This Vendetta put 2 wounds on the squad that had gone to ground in there that was still scoring the objective, but again Paul made his cover saves, and he also made his leadership check on those, so they're staying, which wasn't so good. That is the state of play at the end of the turn. I now score an objective there, still score 1 down here, even though I am shrinking away from the objective as the Doom kills me, and I still score this forgotten one over here with my Flamer platoon command squad. Paul's still scoring that one there and that one there with the wonderful Termagants. And Paul has Linebreaker. I have all 3 of the secondaries at the minute, so I'm 5 points up. The game ends on a 1, a 2, or a 3. The game continues on. We're going to have to make dinner shortly. Okay, this is the end of both of our turn 7s, because both of them combined took 5 minutes. So on Paul's turn, he shuffled around a bit at the back.
Didn't even do that, we were all lurking.
All lurking. He didn't even get control of his own models, but he was on the 2 objectives he already had. The Doom had a bit of a stalematy combat. He went up a bit and then went down a bit again. He was on 2 wounds at the end of Paul's turn. On my turn, I moved both my Vendettas into position and fired my Griffin over here to force a break test on his, well, it was, we were calling it the larger squad throughout the game. There's 3 models left now. But I managed to put enough wounds on them, and I killed, I think, 4 or 5. But they stayed within range of the objective, and they passed their leadership check. This Vendetta managed to chase off the other squad that were scoring the objective, but Paul is still scoring there. The Doom combat, we then went in, and I rolled ridiculously well. I think I put about 8-9 wounds on him in the end, and he failed just the 3 he needed for me to fail.
3 wounds after I'd doinked one of your guys in the head, and then I failed exactly 3 saves.
That's it, so moral victory there. I was really happy I killed him.
The last turn of extra time, the Doom finally gives up the ghost.
He was awesome. But, so the scores on the doors as the game is ended. Paul has an objective there, an objective there. He has line breaker here. I have
7
the objective
points.
there, objective there, the forgotten objective over there, and I've got all 3 of the secondaries, so I've got 12 points.
Win by 5.
Win by 5. But it was a really good game.
Yeah,
it was super close on turn 5, wasn't it? Because
yeah.
it was really.
You were 2 points ahead, I think.
Yeah, I think I was slightly ahead after I just managed to get you on the objective over there.
I was really hoping I'd get to keep the Hormigants around behind the Lehman Russ, and they could come in and save the day with. I reckon the fourth Warhammer Gaunts will probably have a reasonable chance against your veterans.
I think my Griffin has done solid work all day. Every turn it was super accurate and just taking out stuff.
All your vehicles are brilliant. I didn't really have enough anti-vehicle stuff in this army.
No, I mean, there's not that much left now, but I was at turn 5. You had still a good 50 models on the table, and I was wondering how I managed to kill them. But due to the fact that I'd taken out all the synapse, you then were forced to bunch up on the terrain by the special rules, and then I could obviously pour more templates onto them and such.
I wanted to do that anyway because the only advantage of losing synapse is that you can go to ground.
Yeah,
Going to ground and area terrain was my main strategy for trying to score those objectives after that.
The shadow in the warp, I think, proved pretty pivotal today.
Yeah, it was really good because it's probably my last game using the Tyranid rules because I didn't play that many games with them. And the things that I'm probably not going to get to use anymore, like Shadow in the Warp and Doom of the Man on Tide, will probably get toned down a bit.
Yeah.
And then both of those had excellent games.
Yeah, my Demon Prince, 355 points of killing 7 Gene Stealers. Probably not worth his points this game.
Yeah, the gold attack was excellent.
Yep. Yeah, that's the real weakness of the Demon Prince, is none of us getting Iron Arm.
Yeah.
When before the game we were both thinking, oh well, Iron Arm is such a pivotal power in Tyranids versus any kind of demons.
Between us, we had 9 chances to try and get it, and we didn't get a single one.
Yeah.
My psychic powers were really useless. Got basically 2 I liked. So endurance.
Yeah, it did very little.
Enfeeble was brilliant though.
I think the turning points were kind of like the middle game. You had an awful turn, then I had an awful turn. And if either of us hadn't have been so unlucky on those 2 turns, I think whichever one of us hadn't been so unlucky would have walked away with it on turn 4 and 5.
Definitely. Yeah, my monstrous creatures didn't really. It was really my gaunts were the things that seemed powerful this game because the Trigon definitely didn't live up to expectations.
No, my plasma squad were, because I had obviously the guy in there who shouted "bring it down" continually until he died. Being able to re-roll all my hits on monstrous creatures, and the fact that they didn't get much cover because I'd got this side of the board and I'd occupied the bit of terrain there, meaning there wasn't a whole lot of line of sight blocking about for you to utilise to gain cover if you got close, which is one of the reasons I chose this side. But it was really handy. The Trigon popped up, but he's out of cover, and I've got 4 plasma guns that are re-rolling to hit. They're likely to do quite a lot of wounds to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. He managed to trade for a Chimera, and he's 240 points, and I think a Chimera is 55 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's about as bad as your Demon Prince.
Quite possibly. I fired my whole army at your Winged Hive Tyrant turn 1, which I suppose is reasonably likely to take him down when you fire that many shots at him.
But I think trading 300 points for an entire turn of
definitely
Guard shooting
easily worth it.
Is worth it. The book was quite pivotal. The turn 1 book failing.
I had high hopes for the Daemonics because they're so good at engaging any of your units. They can go for little things. They got lots of attacks, but their rending also makes them eat monstrous creatures. But
they're a really good unit against Tyranids because they kind of play the Tyranid game but slightly better. They're just slightly faster, and they're both like really fast and lightly armored and poor toughness. But you're slightly faster.
How did you like your young guards? You haven't used those for a long time.
They were fine. Maybe I should have been a bit bolder and gone for this one, but I just wasn't convinced that I'd be able to put down 8 models there.
Yeah, if I'd have strung my blob squad across there to block that, then could have been in trouble.
But coming out there was still good because they were able to tie up the Demon Prince long enough.
Yeah, they tied him up for turns. They let the Tervigon get in there, didn't they?
Game turns.
Yeah, which is really pivotal. Vendettas were pretty good actually. We did early in the game. I was saying that I didn't think they're actually so broken anymore because 3 lascan shots 130 points isn't that good, but the fact they give me the mobility is the thing that I always forget about.
Like my army could never have gone over and did what you did over here.
That's it. One turn, move over, get out, take the objective. Yeah. And I think they're needed in the Imperial Guard army to give you the ability to reach out.
But maybe if in the new rules the tunnels work better, I might have been able to be. Like, I have a tunnel right here.
Yeah, that's it.
But with the rules, you can't use them.
It's completely pointless because that could come in after the things that you want to tunnel with.
So if they fix that, then I might have a similar ability to keep throwing things.
Similar with lictors, isn't it? They have to arrive from reserves before they can use their reserve manipulation, which just seems a bit pointless. Yeah, their pheromone trail.
Hive commander, if you want to do that.
But... Yeah, that was one of the other reasons I went for your Hive Tyrant to take him out.
I never got a single use out of Old Adversary. That was a waste of 25
Yeah.
I'll probably be telling that in a bit as well. Being preferred enemy to everything around here is pretty awesome.
That it is, but then you see what the Tau can do, giving...
Well,
That's a small upgrade.
Yeah. Hopefully, I should be getting extra 6 attacks on all my Gene Stealers or something.
Ignoring vulnerable saves, that kind of thing. Okay, well, we've got to tidy up before our mate Dave arrives, play some different games. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.